Have you ever tried to build a new habit only to give it up after a few weeks? Don't worry, you're not alone. Around 80% of people abandon their New Year's resolutions by mid-February, and only about 8% manage to maintain them long-term. A lot of times it's not their fault or due to a lack of discipline, it's simple physiology. Your brain is designed to conserve energy, and building a new habit requires a lot of it. So when a new behavior feels too big or unfamiliar, your brain tends to fall back into old patterns and routines simply because they are more energy efficient. Today, I'd like to guide you through the labyrinth of habit formation and give you a map that can help you find your way through. Let's explore how habits are formed and how you can use that knowledge to finally make the change you dream about. Let's begin our journey. Chapter 1. What is a habit? A habit can be described as a form of automaticity. In simple terms, it's a process whereby situational cues automatically trigger an impulse to act. For example, usually when you get into a car, you put your seatbelt on. The car is the trigger, the action is the habit. Habits make it easier for your brain to save cognitive resources for more demanding tasks that might occur. I'm a fan of practical learning, and I'd like to make this a bit more tangible. So let's try a short exercise. Make a fist with both hands. Now stretch your thumb on one hand and your pinky finger on the other. Then try to switch sides and repeat this a few times. If that's easy for you, try to do it faster. If this is still easy for you, you might be a musician or have experience in coordination training. Congratulations if that's the case. Your brain has already built efficient pathways for this kind of movement. And that's what a habit feels like. It's easy, almost automatic, and it leaves you with enough mental space for other things. But on the other hand, if this exercise feels difficult, you're experiencing what your brain goes through when starting a new habit. There are no established pathways yet, and you have to consciously think about every step of this movement. That requires attention and energy. The same principle applies when building new habits, especially when they are completely new. Habit formation is like walking through deep snow. At first, every step is exhausting. But the more often you walk the same path, the clearer and easier it becomes to walk. Over time, it even turns into a broad road, and eventually walking it requires almost no effort at all. That's the point when a behavior becomes a habit. And that's the point we would like to reach. Chapter 2. How long does it take to form a habit? The time and effort needed to form a habit varies widely. It depends on multiple factors such as how complex the behavior is, how new it is, and the individual performing it. For example, Lalli et al. Reported that the median time to form habits like healthy eating, water consumption, or exercise was 66 days. However, the range in this study was quite large, from 18 to 254 days. Another study on a daily stretching routine reported an average of 106 days for morning stretches and 154 days for evening routines. Most recent research suggests that habit formation typically requires between 2 to 5 months for most health behaviors to become automatic. Understanding this time frame and that it takes more than just a few days is very important because realistic expectations are a key part of staying consistent. Consistency, not perfection, is what ultimately builds new habits. Chapter 3. a practical approach to building habits. In this chapter, I give you a few evidence-based strategies that can help you build new habits more efficiently. First, make the habit feel good. One of the most powerful drivers of habit formation is reward. When a behavior is followed by something pleasant, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical messenger that links actions and rewards and plays a crucial role in habit formation. This doesn't have to be anything big though. It can be as simple as ticking a box on a checklist every time you do the new behavior, or listening to your favorite podcast while doing the habit, or even allowing yourself a small enjoyable moment afterwards. Your brain learns faster when a behavior is linked with or immediately followed by something enjoyable. And just to be clear though, this is not about chasing dopamine spikes, but about creating small, consistent and positive feedback signals. Point 2. Piggyback ride. Build on what already exists. Another effective strategy is to attach a new habit to something you already do every day. Instead of creating something completely new, you link it to an existing routine. For example, if you want to drink more water, you could do it every time you make coffee. While the coffee is brewing, you drink a glass of water. This way, you're not adding a new task for your brain, you're simply extending something that already exists, which again makes it easier for your brain. Third point, keep it small and simple. The easier a behavior is to perform, the more likely it is to become a habit. Start small. For example, instead of planning a full workout every day, begin with 2 to 5 minutes of movement after brushing your teeth. Or if you want to walk more, don't aim for an hour every day. Start with 5 minutes. You can always do more, but starting small makes it much more likely that you start at all. The reason behind it is that small behaviors are easier for your brain to process and less likely to be rejected. Remember our path through deep snow in the beginning of this video? Habit formation is not about doing everything all at once, it's about creating a foundation you can build on. If your goal is related to physical activity, it's worth keeping in mind that even a few minutes per day can have a meaningful impact on your health. So starting small is not only easier, it's also effective. If you'd like to explore this idea in more detail, I've made a separate video on how exercise snacks can benefit your health. Point 4. Consistency beats motivation. Motivation can help you get started, but consistency is what actually builds the habit. Habit formation thrives on repetition. The smaller the action, the easier it is to repeat, and repetition is what turns behavior into habit. For example, instead of trying to completely change your diet overnight, you could start by adding one healthy side dish each day. Over time, those small repeated actions become more and more automatic. Point 5. Time and context as triggers. Habits are not only about what you do, but also when and where you do it. Research suggests that habits can be stronger when performed at consistent times. For example, stretching routines have been shown to form more efficiently in the morning compared to the evening. But even more important is context. If you perform a behavior in the same place or situation, your brain starts to associate that context with the action. Over time, the context itself becomes the trigger. For example, putting your sports shoes in a place where you can see them and where they are easily accessible for you can make it easier to actually go for a walk. Point 6. Make it your own. This might seem obvious, but choose habits that are actually yours and fit your life. Research suggests that self-selected behaviors lead to stronger habit formation. There is no perfect habit, only the one you can repeat. All in all, habit formation is not about intensity, but about consistency. Small, enjoyable and repeatable behaviors combined with clear cues and immediate rewards create early successes. And those early successes are what build the foundation for your long-term change. Last chapter, conclusion. Habit formation is a complex process influenced by many different factors. And the time it takes for a behavior to become a habit can vary greatly from person to person. What's important to remember is this: habit formation is a marathon, and it is rarely linear. There will be setbacks and stumbles along the way. There will be days where it feels harder than others. And that's completely normal. What truly matters is consistency over time. So keep going, or as Dory would say, just keep swimming. Be kind to yourself and allow the process to take the time it needs. Remember the analogy of walking through deep snow. The path doesn't appear overnight. It forms step by step, with every time you walk it again. So instead of rushing the outcome, you might as well allow yourself to appreciate the process and see where it takes you.